what did Jerry Jones mean by all in? And that is a great question. And the key of it really is what about Dak's contract and what happens there is the start of it. Because for him to go all in and maybe bring in other players that he said they normally wouldn't be all in on, they got to have the flexibility with Dak's deal, right? So I place that all in front of you, Mike.
You've got to extend Dak Prescott's contract to have the kind of flexibility you need to add other players. His cap number this year is $59.4 million. That is only going to drop with a long-term deal that pays him more than the $40 million per year he's making now. The question is, how close to the top of the market is he going to be? But he's got, Rich, a ton of leverage. This is all the Cowboys' fault. They didn't pay him after his third year in the NFL. They wrote out the fourth year of his rookie fourth-round contract. Then year 5, they paid him under the franchise tag. Year 6 is when they realized they were over a barrel, and they put a contract in place that has them over a barrel now as he enters the final year of his 4-year deal that he did after that first franchise tag and technically when the second one had been used. He has them. And if Jerry Jones had someone in this kind of posture in any type of business relationship, he would take full advantage of it. So I shed no tears for Jerry Jones. They created this mess, and now Dak Prescott has a chance to exercise full leverage. That's the first step. And until you do a new deal with him, you really can't go all in. They have to hope that Dak Prescott decides to give them a break some way, somehow, do a reasonable deal, and leave enough cap space to take care of CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons is going to want to get paid. And that's even before you start thinking about who else might be out there. So all in can have a lot of different meanings. And all in the classic sense, if the Cowboys want to do it, they got one hand tied behind their back as they're pushing those chips out to the center of the table.
Yeah, and the timing on that is this has got to get done before March 11th, right, when the window opens up. This has got to be done in the next 20 days. This has got to be already a topic of conversation here. Right?
Yeah, I mean, when the new league year begins, that's when Dak's cap number hits 59.4. That's the moment it hits. So you've got to have the new contract ready to kick in and drop that cap number.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to have to cut some guys, or you might not be able to sign some guys. I mean, it's a huge mess. Even though the cap, I was told the other day, initially 242, 243 million, and somebody that is always, bats 1,000 on these issues, said it's going to be closer to 250 than 243. We'll see. But the higher that cap number goes for all teams, the easier it is for teams to maneuver. So a lot of teams hoping for a higher number than expected this year. It makes it easier for them to get their players under the cap.
Yeah, when do we hear about that? When does that hit?
Well, it's got to be
soon.
Next week. It's got to be, because when you apply the franchise tag, and we're in the window now, the franchise tag number is, under the current CBA, in most cases, a specific percentage of the cap.
Right.
So you have to know what the cap is to know what you're committing to if you're one of these teams. So no later than 13 days from now, the last day of the franchise tag period, but it's got to come. And I think the final agreement, it's negotiated every year between the league and the union. The final agreement will be made next week in Indianapolis, if not before that.
So this is it. Rubber's meeting the road. I know we're 10 days removed from the Super Bowl, but this is coming up fast. This is happening right now.
Well, this is what happens when you add a 17th game to the regular season. There's no longer a lull.
Right.
This is the lull, and there's really no lull to the lull, because it's just a minor tapping of the brakes, if anything.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.